Hi guys, Jackie Wolf here, and today we're going to be talking about, well, something I didn't want to talk about today. Now, most of you know that I support the R2A absolutism. I am very much in favor of people owning and keeping arms. I'm extremely in the fact that everybody is part of the militia, and House Democrats have just mostly attacked that. You see, in a country like America, you are no longer really able to protect yourself. Instead, you're supposed to lay down for bad people to do it for you. You're supposed to lay down while the useless cops can't even protect your children. And yet, you're bad for owning a gun and wanting to protect yourself. You should lay down for every criminal that breaks into your house and illegally owns something, and let him just take you up the butt. Just constantly massaging your colon. But enough of me rambling about this. We might need to get into the meat of the potatoes of this story. So, as everything in the world starts making noise as soon as I talking into a microphone for some reason, House Democrat floats 1,000% tax on AR-15 style rifles. A key House Democrat is floating a 1,000% tax on AR-15s and similar rifles as part of its party's biggest bid to push gun control in the wake of recent mass shootings. Representative Donald Byer of Virginia, who sits on the House Ways and Means Committee, told Business Insider that increasing the cost of rifles tenfold would be a detriment to mass shootings. Actually, it wouldn't, because, well, if you're going to break the law, you're going to break the law anyway. Do you think this is really going to matter? Oh, we're going to tax it out of the... God, you're a moron. I can build a gun with pipes I buy at Lowe's. The tax would raise the cost of the rifles anywhere from $5,000 to as much as $20,000. Well, no, in that case, I'm just going to buy a fully automatic MP5 or a silenced MP5 because they're cheaper. What it is intended to do is to provide another creative pathway to actually make some sensible gun control happen, Breyer said. We think that a 1,000% fee on assault weapon. Oh, hold on here. Assault weapons. A term that has absolutely no meaning in it at all. It's just kind of restrictive enough. It creates enough financial impact to qualify for reconciliation. Do you want me to tell you what I find really funny about all of this? I find extremely infuriating about all this. The people that are making the gun control argument have no idea what it's like to be a responsible gun owner. The people making that, or the gun control argument, the people doing that, either live in a very highly protected society, are too afraid to speak out against the narrative, or have armed bodyguards. Do you really think these people leading these policy things actually have any morals? No, of course not. A final draft of Byer's bill is not yet complete, which means I would be screaming and hollering if I was from Virginia. And it is unclear when the tax would take effect, what the added revenue would fund, although one possibility is the restitution program for family members of victims killed in shooting. Byer said that law enforcement agencies and the U.S. military wouldn't be subject to the tax, which again means politicians can have whatever the fuck they want while normal people don't get what they need. You understand, like, the best way to protect yourself is to be armed. The lawmaker added that he believes a bill can be cleared in the House where Democrats hold a clear majority and bypass the filibuster in the Senate, where Vice President Kamala Harris could cast this deciding vote. The problem is I have an absolute problem with you putting a tax on something that should not be infringed, especially when people from 17 to 45 without military experience are part of the unorganized militia And all Americans from age 17 till death are part of the general militia. Yeah, most people don't know that. You are supposed to protect yourself in a time of crisis. You are supposed to protect your community and those who are too weak to protect themselves. That is actually the design of the American experiment. It is not collectivization, it is individual will, but to understand the individual will is that you have to understand that the individual has to be able to protect himself and his fellows. None of this will work. It will just make things a lot worse because we're going slowly towards where Honduras was 15 years ago. A final draft, I've already read all that. They want this. They're saying it's a tax. They're going to do this through reconciliation. Congress must act to prevent mass shootings. I'm writing a bill to restrict the flow of weapons of war into the American communities, including the AR-15 and high-capacity magazines that could bypass the Philip and pass with just 50 votes in the Senate. Of course, he also goes on to talk about, Joe Manchin and somebody else on the Democratic Party that does not agree with this stuff. Biden's plan is passed through reconciliation, which would allow it to bypass the 60-vote threshold, breaking the filibuster. Because it is a tax proposal, it could meet the requirement for reconciliation, people say. An estimated 20 million AR-style rifles are in circulation in the U.S., and about 20% of all new firearms purchased meet the description. 100% of all new firearms purchases meet the description because assault weapon has no definition, unlike assault rifle, which we use a definition that is not actually colloquially canalized by the United States. You see, in America, a rifle's a rifle. It's not an assault rifle or any of this classification nonsense because we don't have the legal definitions for that. Instead, we bicker and scream at each other until we find a consistent or a colloquial analog for the description, because we have forgot how as human beings to actually debate and talk about problems. And again, I have often stated that I don't believe that I believe there's a problem with all mass shooters in the fact that they're in FBI databases before they commit a mass shooting. So yeah, no, there is a massive problem here. But it's one of those things, like, I just don't get why people want to do this constantly. They want to keep doing this stuff, and it's just annoying. But anyways, a bill proposed by Rep. David, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, dude, no offense, defines assault weapons as military-style rifles, including those with a magazine that is not fixed ammunition magazine or has one or more military characteristics, including a pistol grip, a foregrip, a barrel shroud, a threaded barrel, or folding telescopic squat. Wait, hold on. It defines assault weapons as military-style weapon or rifles. God, where have I heard this argument before? Oh yeah, the 90s, when the ban on AR-15s uplifted in the first place. Fun little fact though, AR-15s were being used in mass shootings even though civilians couldn't own one. As somebody that has done an extensive amount of research on this topic, go away, ads from the Daily Wire. I don't give a fuck about what you have to say. The Democrats have also proposed raising the age to buy an AR-15 style rifle from 18 to 21. Recent mass shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde, Texas were carried out by an 18-year-old gunman with an AR-15 style rifle, although a mass shooting in Philadelphia Saturday was carried out by multiple suspects with handguns. Well, do you know how you prevent somebody from shooting you? You have a gun. And I will go into I will just segue into a personal story. A long time ago, Jackie was raped. A long time ago, when Jackie was 12, he was taken advantage of. This is actually where a lot of my "you need to protect yourself" comes from. I am aware. I've had many psychiatrists even look into it. The big thing about that is, when I was 18 years old, I could go into a Walmart because I'm not particularly like super manly looking. I'm fairly, but I could walk into a Walmart and people would follow me around. And these weren't people like following me around. Look, they were people following me around, targeting me. This kept going on for a very long time until I got old enough to actually own a handgun. And then some of my local stores started allowing people to open carry. Some of my big chain stores don't enforce no guns on the premises, please. Because, well, they figured out that having people armed in the store actually was cutting down on a lot of the problems that were being reported. I started open carrying no, at the time I had a Glock. I'm not a big fan of Glocks, but I had a Glock 17. I bought off a friend. And when I would walk into a store at 21, 22 years old, that those people would look, they would follow me down an aisle, and then they would realize that I have a Glock holster hanging off my belt. They would actually leave me alone. They stopped doing the things that they were doing. The main offender of the case is actually in jail because, well, he caught him a boy, alright? At an anti-gun rally. I wish I was kidding. But that's what happened. See, I believe in protecting yourself. I believe in carrying knives, guns, weapons, and stuff like that. And I don't believe in restrictions for that very reason. I also hunt, and I can tell you, as somebody that fixes and hunts, I mean, I fix a lot of people's hunting rifles, and a lot of people actually do hunt with 5.56 and 2.23 AR-15s. Because they're very common, I can get parts for them very quickly. A lot of people come to me to get them fixed. We need to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, Biden said last week. And if we can't ban assault weapons, then we should raise the age of purchase from 18 to 21 and strengthen the background checks. You mean the broken background check system that exists in the United States already? The broken background check system that, even though it's ran by the FBI, is so inept it's not even funny. Oh, and you want to get rid of the limitations on it so that even a person that's never done anything wrong in their life can be indefinitely held after buying a rifle. They're having to wait for this to process because the majority of rifle sales actually happens online these days. So in other words, what you're doing is you're hurting the American populace way of protecting themselves against threats that don't really give a fuck about these laws. That is the problem with these gun debates. Bayer also called for imposing new taxes on high-capacity magazines that can carry more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Congratulations, guys! You know that Glock 17 story I just talked? Yeah, well, I'd have to pay taxes on it because it holds more than 10 rounds of ammunition. And I guarantee you, anybody attacking you is going to have more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Of course, I can bypass that because I generally carry multiple magazines with me. I just find it inconvenient, and these people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about because the standard police pursuit procedure is to mag dump a 17-round magazine into the suspect because 10 rounds is not enough. The definition of assault weapon in the bill closely mirrors a measure that Rep. David Cicilline of Rhode Island is pushing. The bill would ban weapons with at least one military characteristic like a pistol grip or a forward grip. Republicans have historically restricted new gun control measures, claiming criminals will not abide by them. In necessarily mass shootings, existing laws were broken or suspects should have been flagged, neither of which fucking carried any merit of weight. So what you're saying is pointing out that the suspects have already broke laws and don't give a fuck about your flagging system. Does that not say something there? Does that not point out one of the biggest problems we have with this society and these things that you want to do? Of course not. You just don't understand. But in the wake of the recent shootings, some members of the GOP have signaled a willingness to consider new jobs. Those people should be voted out of office faster than you can say Fred. Because I am tired of this. Gun laws don't work. They've never worked. And I have presented evidence multiple times that everybody of the age of 17 should have access to any weapon they can afford. There should not be taxes on weapons. You know, I could maybe say a sales tax, but not to this extent. not to this extent whatsoever. And this is just dirty. This is wrong. This is absolutely terrifying. And quite honestly, I would not hesitate to believe that these people that are pushing for this thing, just want absolute power and know that the citizenry are getting kind of sick and tired of being treated like trash. You know what it is? That's what I think it is. All of this is because the United States is on the verge of collapsing. I'm not even going to lie about it. We're on the verge of actually collapsing, falling apart. And these people want to ban guns. These people want to ban this. These people want to print money to the point that I can't even afford groceries, and they want to ban guns. Do you not understand where I'm coming from with this? They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They just want to fuck you over. And they continually want to fuck you over. But, as a fun thing that most people don't know, I'm working on something. I'm working on something beautiful and scary because I'm tired of this rhetoric nonsense bullshit that I deal with on a daily basis. I'm working on something. I'm working on something that hopefully you will all understand. But anyways, I've been Jackie, and this is a rant. This is meant to be viewed as me talking about this story. But I am putting a lot of I don't like this. This is wrong. Anyways, I love you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. Write your fucking senators and representatives and say if this law passes, my state's not part of the U.S. anymore. We cannot live in a society where we cannot protect ourselves. Anyways, later.